Okay.
No, I'm on. It's
Okay,
all right.
Nick's on.
I'm good. We're good. We're good. Welcome,
now my mic's on.
Welcome to Midwest Access here on this Thursday.
Not much goes right around here sometimes. All right, thanks for joining us today. We have a lot coming up here on Midwest Access today. We have some guests joining us in studio. You probably saw them peeking behind me. We are going to do a little fashion show with some local fashion.
Ooh,
some
I like
Minnesota
it. I kind of already saw a sneak peek. I kind of liked the fashion that we have going on.
Yes.
I think a lot of you at home would like it too. The kind of the Midwest type of feel, right?
a little flannel, you know.
Yeah, I wasn't going to say flannel. Yes, flannel.
Not to spoil it, right? So we have a lot to get to, and we want to share more about Veterans Day. That's coming up right around the corner. If we can take the graphic that we have prepared here about some of the things that we have coming up today, that would be helpful for me. So we have some folks coming in to tell us about some breakfasts that you can attend on Veterans Day if you are a veteran. We have a wine tasting session that will be coming up. I actually was going to tell Tom about that. I'll have to ask him if he'd like to join because
I'll pop in.
Oh, you like wine too?
No, I don't like wine, but we need Tom out here.
he
I think Caitlin likes wine too.
So,
maybe both of them want to come out.
We will have to see if they have a moment to come check out the wine tasting that we'll have here on Midwest Access today. And we are going to visit Graham Park because there are some updates out there, but also some things happening out at Graham Park that you might not know about. And as I mentioned, some Veterans Day events. And we are also going to give you a recap, another recap of the Iceland trip, some pictures and videos that we wanted to share with you today, thanks to our friends at Colette. And we've been talking about Veterans Day. We want to mention our friends from Scooter's Coffee. They were going to come in, but we still want to mention that they have some special drinks on Veterans Day for veterans. So Veterans Day is Saturday, and if you show up at Scooter's, you get one free drink. If you are a veteran, just have your valid veterans ID. So just a couple different things we'll be telling you about that.
Yeah,
we'll be honoring veterans this weekend. Veterans Day actually falling on the weekend this year.
On the weekend, right. No, so that's good to see some local spots giving back to those who obviously give for our country.
Yes, and that's always the thing too, to know where to go. Because there are so many places that do have specials on Veterans Day. So we'll be sure to let you know throughout the show here today and then tomorrow as well on Midwest Access as we are heading into the weekend, Veterans Day weekend. All right, let's get to our question of the day. Here it is. Almost 20% of people say teaching your kids this skill will make them more successful. My mom texted me about this today, and I saw she posted on there. She said financial guidance, money management skills, which probably is more
how
than 20%.
How to value a dollar, right?
Manners.
Manners, probably a good
Making your bed. I like that answer as well. Because does it? I don't know, but maybe it does.
Well, you start the day off the right way, right? Yeah, do something positive.
When I was younger, I used to sleep on top of my covers.
Dude, did you really? That's what I did.
It was like a stretch of my life because I'm like, well, I gotta make my bed. I'm just sleeping on top of it.
So all through not high school, all through college, never made my bed because I just used an extra blanket and I slept on top. I was like, look it. I think I'm really thinking ahead here.
Right, but then you don't get to enjoy the bed.
Well, I don't know. I had a pretty nice, comfortable blanket.
Well,
nice little fuzzy blanket.
You're set. Just fold the blanket. You're good to go for the day. But maybe that's the answer. I don't know. Go to Facebook, put down what you think the answer is. We will have the actual answer coming up just before 5 o'clock. Let's talk about weather.
Was it nice to see the sun today?
Yes, but it was so windy.
It has.
I came in and Chuck Sibley said it's a club up 2 clubs today kind of day.
Oh, it'd be maybe 3 or 4
clubs. He said 2.5, actually.
2.5, yeah.
That's probably playing golf this morning. Who knows?
Yeah, that sounds about right. Today, really breezy conditions, but we've seen some sunshine. Temperatures have warmed pretty nice here today. We actually have the sun close to setting here pretty soon as we are late in the season now. Lewis Not Alive camera as we look on a CC Heights. Temperature at 46, feels like 39 outside, wind out of the west at 16 miles per hour, so we continue with some strong wind here late this afternoon. Temperatures locally, some low 50s, Mason City, Forest City, Charles City, all in the 50s. It's 46 in Rochester. Wind will continue to be strong here tonight. Notice those winds out of the west and northwest, anywhere from 10 to 20. Some gusts approaching anywhere from maybe 25, even 35 miles per hour here tonight. The strong wind, we get a break from it, I think, coming up tomorrow. Notice our wind gust forecast. We drop those gusts down. So tomorrow, not a windy day at all. The winds will return by the upcoming weekend. Future track radar, we do have some what's showing rain. That's not making it down to the ground. No rainfall expected here tonight. We're just kind of increasing some cloud cover. A weak little boundary. See that little dashed line there? A weak little boundary will move through. And I do think that'll calm our temperatures or calm our wind speeds, but our temperatures will drop. We're down to the upper 20s for lows tonight. Some cool temperatures Friday, and then big changes on the way in terms of our temperatures. We'll talk about that coming up in your full forecast. Cammie, we have a fashion show going on. Perfect season for this, right?
Yes, a fashion show. I'm not sure if it's fall or winter fashion or both, kind of.
Both.
Yeah,
Yes.
both. So Minnesota Chicks is a family-owned business here in Rochester. Kara Gothier is the owner of Minnesota Chicks, and we have Deb Stafford here as well because she plays a role. She helps sell some of the product. How are you ladies?
Very good.
Thanks for joining us today. So Minnesota Chicks, when did you decide I'm going to open a clothing company?
Well, my sister started Alaska Chicks in Palmer, Alaska
Oh, wow.
about 15 years ago.
So are you guys from Rochester?
Yes, I'm from Rochester. When I married my husband, I became from Rochester, I should say.
Gotcha.
But yes.
So the
I've been
sister
here.
lives in Alaska,
She lives in Alaska.
and she was successful with her business there?
Very successful.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so now Minnesota Chicks, when did you begin?
We started last year, right around this time. My first craft show was in Casson at the high school there.
And are you, do you have a business background?
No, actually, we're 3 sisters. We grew up on a dairy farm. We have 2 brothers, and we all are participating now in the business.
Oh, my goodness.
That my sister started in Alaska.
So we have Alaska, we have Minnesota, what's the other one?
Wisconsin.
Oh, wow. And where
So-
did you guys grow up on the farm?
In Wisconsin.
Wisconsin.
Yes.
Okay. So Deb, tell us more about some of the fashion. I assume this is Minnesota Chicks fashion right here?
Correct.
Okay. So what are some of the options?
We have.
We have some models here. Why don't we
yes,
bring the
have
models
some
out?
models.
Absolutely.
Models.
So is it flannel? Would we consider
We
it?
have shackets.
Okay,
this is a
shackets.
shacket. And she's wearing our teal shacket. And she also has on our fuzzy. So
Oh.
being that they were designed by Kara's sister, a lot of our
Yeah, ladies, if you just want to stand in a line there, you can see where you are on the
they
screen.
just go up
if you
higher
want.
on the neck because of the wind and the weather and
That's
stuff.
nice.
But they're not tight. So they're very, and or Ethel has a black fuzzy on and she looks adorable in it.
And it's comfy.
Very.
Comfy.
Very.
Okay. So Minnesota Chicks, how do you decide where you're going to go with your fashion? And how do you even go about getting the product?
Well, my sister designs it in Palmer, Alaska, and then she has it outsourced and then delivered at our doorstep. So then we look for craft shows, different events here
Yeah.
in Rochester or in the Twin Cities to go and sell the product.
And how has things been going?
They've been going really well.
Really?
Yeah. We've had to buy a trailer now to haul things.
Well, that's good then.
We moved out of my minivan, yes, so it's been good.
What is your most popular item?
I would say the shacket.
Okay, which is right here.
Andrea is modeling our tan shacket, and yeah, I think people love those because you can put them over a hoodie, wear them to sporting events. They just are very nice, warm, comfy, and
Yeah.
stylish.
And if it's a nice winter day, you can just wear this with the sweatshirt
Yeah.
underneath without having to be the bulky coat.
And can you show us on your arm here? So is that your logo?
Yes.
And what does
this
it say? Explore Minnesota,
Yep.
Minnesota Chicks.
Yeah.
So did the one sister think of the name? Alaska
Yeah,
Chicks?
She did.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
And now we have Wisconsin, Minnesota. Are we going to expand into other states?
She may possibly do that. But she is a hardworking girl, and she wanted to honor women from Alaska, Minnesota, Wisconsin, because she knows they're hardworking, and she wanted functional, stylish clothing.
And it's
So-
affordable. I looked online.
Yes,
Items
very
are
affordable.
affordable and warm. So Alaska, Minnesota, and Wisconsin, you need a hardy shacket.
You do.
Or sweatshirt. And we have some other items coming right up here. Is this
Yes.
Ethel, you said?
This is Ethel.
And we
Yeah.
also want to look nice when we're out and about.
Yes.
Beautiful.
And so we have a sweatshirt here.
Yep, this is our two-tone sweatshirt.
Okay.
So, and then she has another zip-up coat.
All right.
We
Yeah.
call that the sporty zip-up. 'cause
Sporty
it's-
zip-up.
Yep.
And I
we
like the
also
mint green.
Our other patch says "Enjoy Life."
Enjoy life. Perfect. Wait, let me see the inside of this.
Oh yeah, feel.
Oh, okay.
Very
That's
nice.
nice. Okay.
And
Soft
these-
on the inside.
These feel soft. So does that one on the inside.
Okay.
The sleeves
Oh.
the sleeves on the pine hoodie are thin, so they're not the thick material.
Thumb hole.
Thumb hole. Yeah.
Very nice. Come on and stand over this way a little bit. Yeah, let's show off the thumb hole and show off, if you can, the inside. It's so fuzzy on the inside. So soft. And you have a couple shows coming up.
Yes, we do. We will be at the Mayo Civic Center on November 18th from 8:30 to 4 for the Fall Craft and Business Show. That's the same day as the Mayo Craft Show there. So there should be a lot of people.
Yes.
We're excited for that. Then we'll be at Sargent's on 2nd Street for S'mores and Santa around Black Friday and the weekend after.
Right, so you can do some Christmas shopping, and you guys just pop up right there?
Yep, we'll be there, popped up under one of the canopies at 2nd Street Sargent's.
And we have a couple pop-up shops coming up in the mall, Apache Mall.
Yes, we do. Yep,
Okay.
and December we'll be at Apache Mall. We'll be in the pop-up shop, and we'll be at a pop-up fixture in the middle of the aisle earlier in the month.
Okay,
So-
perfect. We have the details on our website, KTTC.com. You can see right here some of the dates where you can check out Minnesota chicks and their style and fashion. Ladies, why don't you come out one more time here? I think we have a couple different items that they're wearing
yes.
as well, too. So we'll have you stand right here as we head to commercial break because you have to show off some of the awesome items from Minnesota Chicks, especially this sweatshirt with the loons.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. The loons around the sleeves, and then what are the zipper here? Is that like a pocket?
Just
a
little air vent.
Oh, a little
Yes.
air vent. Well, on the armpit, you just have the air vent. I like that. Okay, Minnesota
Yes.
Chicks from Rochester, Minnesota. There's a Wisconsin option and an Alaska option as well, thanks to some sisters
Yes.
from Wisconsin. From the dairy farm?
That's right.
From the dairy farm. Again, more details on our website, KTTC.com. Ladies, thank you so much. You look awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We have to take a break, but before we do, we'll show you who's coming up next. It would be Mr. Tom Overly. He's joining us in studio, and we'll have some news headlines when we come back. Thank you. Yeah. Hey, thanks for sticking with us on Midwest Access. It's time now for a look at some of the day's local headlines. Tom Overly joins us live in studio. Hey, Tom.
Hey, Kathy. So, yes, let's take a look at the news at this hour. A teenager is arrested after a fight
I think we're having mic issues again. Is your mic on?
involving a knife. Involving a knife. There you go. Rochester police say that a 15-year-old was taken into custody after pulling out a knife during this fight on campus. Century staff reported the incident to the school's resource officer just after 2:30, saying several students were involved in this fight. Police say one student received some minor injuries, as several other students and a teacher were threatened by the teen with a knife. After he was arrested, the teen was transported to the Anoka County Juvenile Detention Center, and he is facing a number of felony charges, including second-degree assault with a dangerous weapon and threats of violence. Well, a Rochester family plans to fight back after their daughter suffered from carbon monoxide poisoning at a hotel over the past weekend. Jordan and Chris Tipton took their kids to the La Quinta Inn and Suites on Saturday for a play date with extended family. They were at the pool area. A short amount of time had passed before they noticed that their children were kind of acting strange. Jordan says that her 3-year-old daughter, Rosalind's lips turned white. She was struggling to remain conscious. The Tipton's attorneys say that if it was not for the heroic acts of a bystander who was trained in CPR, Rosalind most likely would not have survived. The cause was carbon monoxide poisoning. The dangerous gas was being emitted from the pool's heater, according to authorities, and there was no alarm in that area that detected the carbon monoxide.
Something that costs $30 per monitor that could, my whole life changed in 30 minutes, and that was completely unnecessary for $30, something that could have saved us all. And we were sick about it.
Well, the Tipton's attorney tells us that this is not the first time a pool heater has caused a carbon monoxide emission with no detector present. In fact, he shared with us a database dating back 50 years showing all the instances in which this exact scenario was taking place. He also says the lawsuit may extend several years because the 4 victims are young children and still developing. It's unknown at this time what the extent of the neurological injuries could be. All right, let's shift now to some lighter news. Governor Tim Walz is headed down under. Tomorrow, the governor will lead a trade mission to Australia. He'll be stopping in Sydney and Melbourne as part of a trip to promote Minnesota businesses and strengthen economic partnerships. According to the governor's office, last year, Minnesota's trade with Australia was valued at $579 million, including exports at $438 million. That makes Australia Minnesota's 13th largest market for goods and 19th largest market for agricultural products. Governor Walz will be joined by state ag and trade leaders, as well as representatives from a couple of dozen groups and businesses, including Delta Airlines, the University of Minnesota, and Destination Medical Center. Oh, by the way, a new pub is opening today in North Iowa. It's inside Diamond Joe Casino. You might want to check it out. 35 Brew Street Bar and Grill dishes out American favorites in an atmosphere Diamond Joe is calling upscale casual. With 18 TV screens, most turned to KTTC, you can order lots of game day eats like chicken wings, nachos, giant pretzel sticks. Hours vary, but the restaurant is open 7 days a week. Diamond Joe Casino is located off I-35 south of the Minnesota border. Of course, tonight at 5 and 6. Hey, you're going to be doing a little wine sampling, testing. Volunteer to sample.
Yes. I mentioned you right away. We have some wine tasting coming up a little bit later on, so we'll see you then.
All right, sounds good.
We have much more to come here on Midwest Access, including a stop at the fairgrounds. What the future holds for Graham Park, we'll tell you next. Hey, welcome back to Midwest Access. Thanks for sticking around. We've moved out to Graham Park in Rochester, and we are hanging out with Olmsted County Commissioner Sheila Kiskaden. How are you?
I'm great. Glad to have you here.
Hey, we are excited to be here. So we are going to talk about the future of Graham Park, but also some of the current buildings that are here that maybe you haven't checked out, because there are a lot of opportunities to come hang out and have a good time at Graham Park. So right now, we are in the Floral Hall.
Correct. Floral Hall has been renovated. It has been adaptive reuse of a historic structure. We have lots and lots of weddings that are held here and fundraisers. This is a space, the whole Graham Park is a space for the community to come and have their events where we can celebrate, gather, and learn all together. So great, this is one of our successes. We have this big, beautiful limestone building that now has handicapped accessible bathrooms, lighting, and it's a really an intimate place in the evening for lots of events. It's beautiful.
So you mentioned a lot of weddings here. That's a popular event to have in this space, and it's pretty affordable?
It's very affordable compared to commercial places that are available. We don't really compete with them, but we know that there are people in our community who are budget conscious, and they're going to want to have a space that's affordable for them. And particularly some of our our ethnic communities, our lower income communities, we want spaces for them as well. We have quinceañeras that happen here at Graham Park, mostly really over there in the arenas because those are big events.
Yes.
But we have a lot of different kinds. We had Chalk the Walk here this summer. We have the farmers market uses this building sometimes for markets. The Cambodian night markets. There's a lot of things that happen here at Graham Park.
There really are. And is that something that you've been pushing for, to continue to use the spaces out here and some of the history that's here and keeping it alive at Graham Park?
We absolutely want this to be a place that the community thinks about when they are sponsoring an event. We could do it at Graham Park. We can have the parking free. We can have easy access. We can have grounds that we can use. You know, the farmers market moved out here 2 years ago, and they tell me that they have more vendors, and the vendors come from a 50-mile radius, and a lot more business. And people tell me that they really love coming here because it feels safe. You don't have to cross busy streets, and they can really wander the grounds. And if you come here on a Saturday morning while the farmers market is going on, there's the farmers market going on. There's often a show over in Crawford Hall. I was here in 90-degree heat one time, and they were doing a Northwoods boutique. I shouldn't advertise for them. Northwoods boutique, and it was all Christmas stuff, 90 degrees. But so lots of different things, flea markets, trade shows. Yeah. When we get that new building built, we'll be doing equestrian events here too.
Right. So the new building is multi-purpose.
Absolutely. We're designing a building that will take down some out-of-date, end-of-life pole barns.
We love history, but they can go.
Well, those some things aren't that historic. Pole barns aren't really that historic.
Right.
So we'll replace it with a very beautiful 80,000 square foot multi-purpose building. And that building will be available for the community's use for all sorts of things. And one of the things that we've learned is that equestrian shows are looking for places as well. Sure. But we already have rodeos and other things here. So we'll be able to do equestrian shows, we'll be able to do trade shows, we'll be able to do large gathering events, and we'll be able to divide the space as well so smaller events can happen there, and it'll be a brand new facility with brand new parking, and we can hardly wait to make it happen.
When will we see that building up and functioning?
We just got $8 million from the legislature. We're moving into the design phase now. And I can't tell you exactly when that'll happen because there's a long process to design a public building and assemble all the financing and get it done. But hopefully by the end of 2024, it'll be underway.
So as a commissioner, how involved are you with that design process?
I'm not very involved in the design process. You don't want commissioners designing your buildings. Okay. But we do represent the public opinion. So we look at it and say, yeah, that's what the market study said, because we did do a market study.
Sure.
Or that's our sense of what we would want for our community. One of the places the commissioners did intervene was on this old highway department building that's across the way from us here.
Okay.
The commissioners said, let's preserve that building.
Sure.
Our staff were saying, oh, it's, past its maybe, and we shouldn't. Oh no, we said, that beautiful limestone facade, that's a beautiful building and we need to convert it. So now our master plan, long range, has that becoming a community event venue as well. Okay. So we do get to insert our opinion, but we don't do the design.
And sometimes it works out to where, hey, you made a change or kept a building around.
Actually, I had nothing to do with this design other than to say, let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay.
So, right.
Perfect. So let's talk about the grandstand because we've been hearing about the grandstand in the news. The grandstand's coming down, but what's going in its place?
The grandstand, unfortunately, we can't preserve every historic structure. And that one would be so expensive to replace, and it is structurally unsound. And it doesn't get used that much. So what we're doing right now is an analysis of who would like to use some outdoor kind of performance space. How do we accommodate our anchor users like the fair, 4-H, other kinds of groups? How do we design to meet a variety of needs and not have such a static facility like the grandstand? Okay. So that design work is beginning, but we did this just this week. Agreed that it's time to take the existing grandstand down and authorized a budget to do that.
Okay, do we know when it's coming down and when something will be in its place? I know everything's not set in stone just yet, but do we have somewhat of a timeline?
The bids are out now, are going out now for doing the demolition. And the design work, we've got a firm working on the design for the new performance space. We're doing a market analysis for the performance space. It's not going to happen in 2024, right. Okay. But we will know what we're going to do in 2024 and be ready to go in 2025.
Okay. Lastly, is there anything more that you'd like folks to know about Graham Park? I know the hockey scene brings in a lot of people to Graham Park.
Well, we've been the home to Rochester Youth Hockey and all of our high school hockey teams, oh golly, probably back, I don't even know, 60s, 70s. But we are one of the few places in the state, only the National Sports Center in Blaine has 4 sheets of ice in one location. Okay. So we know that about upwards of 250,000 visitors come to play hockey or watch hockey here. Right. And so it is a hockey destination, and we're going to continue our partnership with the Rochester Youth Hockey and with our high schools for the hockey.
We have to mention the Corn Tower. Chuck Sibley behind the camera. He wants to touch on the Corn Tower. It's award-winning.
It is award-winning. It is iconic. And when we began planning for Graham Park, some people said, oh, that Corn Tower. You would be surprised how many people love our Corn Tower. So if I can make a pitch, I think that we are the absolutely best place in the state to have a cornhole contest, don't you?
I like
Under
that.
the Corn Tower? I think that should happen. Can you make that happen?
We need to do that.
Yeah,
that's good. Get the
so.
other commissioners on board, okay?
Well, I've been trying. They've agreed on a lot of improvements here to Graham Park. The county's invested a lot of money in Graham Park, but so far I'm the only cornhole enthusiast.
Well, you keep trying, okay?
All right.
Thank you so much for joining us, Commissioner Graham Park. The future is bright here, and the present is pretty awesome as well. We are joining you again from the Floral Hall here at Graham Park. We have more details about Graham Park on our website. That's kttc.com. Thanks again. We have to take a break. We'll be right back.
Hey, welcome back. Well, Veterans Day is Saturday, and Hy-Vee's annual breakfast for vets is actually tomorrow. Chad Launderville is here to tell us more about it. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you today?
I'm doing all right. So Friday's the big day.
Friday will be our big day for breakfast.
Okay, what do veterans need to know?
So yeah, they can come into any of the Hy-Vee stores in Rochester, and Cassin's also involved with this. And we're going to have a free breakfast for veterans that day. And we expect a lot. Usually we have well over 1,000, pushing 2,000.
Busy day for Hy-Vee.
Yeah, between the Hy-Vees. So it's awesome. They get a really good breakfast.
But well worth it, that's for sure, for those who have fought for this country. And they get a coin.
Yeah, so we have a very nice coin here that we give out, and has the year on it, and the veterans appreciate that. They really do like it. So.
And so Friday from 6 in the morning?
Yep, 6 to 10.
Okay, 6 to 10, free breakfast for veterans. Do they bring their ID? Do they show that?
You know what? It's the honor system.
Yeah, and if you're a veteran coming out to Hy-Vee, free breakfast for you tomorrow morning. And it's more than just the breakfast as well. There's some incentive to come to Hy-Vee to get your groceries as well.
Yeah, we're going to do 15% off for veterans tomorrow. So that is at the store and also online for the aisles online. So,
Okay, and that Hy-Vee is very, very passionate about giving back to veterans. And you're doing one more thing, or there's one other thing that Hy-Vee does for vets.
Yeah, we're doing the Hy-Vee Home Front from now till the 15th of November. And we're going to match up to $100,000 for what customers donate, and Hy-Vee's going to match that. And those go to Hope for Warriors, Operation First Response, Puppy Jake Foundation, and that type of thing. So it's a really good thing to donate at the cash register for that as well.
Okay, perfect. A lot of good Hy-Vee is doing for veterans because they are well worth it. That's for sure here in this country. So free breakfast, again, it is November 10th. So remember, it is tomorrow, not Saturday.
Correct. Yep.
Tomorrow from 6 to 10 a.m. Chad, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it. Yes. More details on our website as well. That's KTTC.com. All right, we have to take a break. Weather is coming up when we come back. Hey, welcome back. We are still talking about Veterans Day coming up this weekend. It is Saturday. Chad Stowers now joins me, and he is from the VFW here in Rochester. How are you?
Post 1215. I'm doing very wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Thanks so much for coming in. You have a jam-packed weekend, that is for sure.
Do, yeah.
So what's coming up on Friday? Let's talk about that first.
So Friday, the big thing for all you Marines out there is the Marine Corps birthday. The 4 Detachment 606 here in town is hosting a Marine Corps birthday party / ceremony.
Okay.
So we got our fish fry, we got that, and then we have a band Friday night.
Okay, sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time. If you've never done the horse races, we're also doing horse races that night.
So what does that consist of?
It's a pull tab game.
Yeah.
And it's basically a you can either get a horse, a pig, a duck. If whatever you get wins, you can win money.
Okay.
It's fun.
So that is on Friday, fish fry.
Correct, fish fry. Yep.
Okay,
the best fish fry in Rochester.
Is on Friday, and then Saturday, the actual day of Veterans Day. Yep. You have a big ceremony, but that's not at the VFW.
Correct. That is at the International Event Center. That is out by the airport.
Yes.
Yes, it's being sponsored by Powers Ventures. They've been doing it for a long time. They do a wonderful job. There's a free breakfast because the Army runs on its stomach. So they're
That's good, though.
Yes, they're serving food from 8:30 to 10. It's free breakfast, and then at 10:30 the Veterans Day ceremony starts. We have a guest speaker. We're going to post colors, retire colors. We got some symbolic things that we're going to be doing to honor the veterans that have fought for this country.
Okay, and so VFW 1215 in Rochester, the only VFW here in town.
Correct.
And can people come by, hang out anytime?
Absolutely. Yeah, just come on in, sign the guest book. We would love to see you there.
Okay, and then on Sunday you can watch the Vikings.
Yes, watch the Vikings win. Not just watch them.
They're on a roll.
Yes, they are. Yes.
Thank you so much, Chad, for joining us. Anything more that folks should know about Veterans Day and some of the things you have coming up this weekend?
If you get a chance, stop by Soldiers Field Veterans Memorial. And take a few minutes and walk around there, read the stories, look at the names, because those veterans are what have made us free today. So.
Yes, absolutely. Chad, thank you.
You bet. Thank you.
More details on our website, KTTC.com. Now it's time for weather.
Hey, as we take a look outside here, temperatures on our Lewis and Otta live camera, we've had temps warm up to seasonal averages. 46 outside, wind out of the west at 16 miles per hour. Wind speeds slightly calming here, but they will pick back up here later on tonight. We could have some gusts maybe approaching close to, say, 25 to even 30 miles per hour. And then notice some calm conditions settle in through the daytime hours tomorrow. No rainfall making it down to the ground. A lot of dry air down towards the surface there on future track radar tonight. Watch temperatures get down. We'll creep down into the upper 20s for lows here tonight. Cloud cover returns tomorrow, probably partly cloudy. And notice the highs just expected to be in the upper 30s and low 40s. So a cold one on the way for Friday. Temperatures here tonight, 29 for the overnight low. We're partly cloudy, increasing that cloud cover by tomorrow morning. And I want to show a nice little 10-day forecast. I normally don't go that far out, but I want to show the big warm-up that we'll have for next week. Notice 39 for the high Friday, 45 on Saturday, still below seasonal averages. And then look what happens as we move towards next week. We are looking at high temperatures warming up real nice. We're in the mid-50s coming up by Sunday, Monday, and we could even see the low 60s on the way by Wednesday and Thursday. The 50s, Cammie, continue all the way into next weekend. That'll do it for our first alert forecast. We'll send it to you, Cammie.
All right. Well, why don't we just go to commercial break? It looks like the camera's not on me, so we will head to commercial break and have much more on Midwest Access when we return. This, one of the largest, if not the largest waterfalls in Iceland. And if you look, you can see a rainbow there at the bottom. I'm actually at the top of the waterfall this time. We're hanging out at the harbor here this morning, fishing, a major industry in the country of Iceland. We have had so much fun. We did see the northern lights. We've seen waterfalls, a bunch of lava, we've seen geysers, and so much more. Have many folks from Rochester joining us thanks to Colette Travel. Today we're hanging out at a pretty big waterfall. Today we are hanging out in the Blue Lagoon. It's freezing cold outside, but this geothermal spa, this water, is about 102 degrees Fahrenheit, maybe a little hotter in some spots. We are having so much fun here in Iceland. Some of the group from Rochester is hanging out behind me. We have drinks, we have face masks. They give you a face mask that you can put on. We are in the capital city of Reykjavik, and I'm standing right by the most photographed building in all of Iceland. It's a Lutheran church here in the capital city.
Well, the wine shows up and we all end up right here in the studio. Autumn Gillum is a wine educator at 125 Live in Rochester, and she has some advice for us today. She teaches wine tasting classes.
Yeah.
Sounds like a pretty good class.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Thanks for joining us today.
Oh my gosh, thank you for having me.
So tell us more about your classes.
Sure.
Wine tasting. Is it about pairing or is it literally just tasting all your wine?
It's like, what, you get to go to a class and actually drink wine? What is this all about?
It's an awesome kind of class, I gotta say.
Absolutely.
Tom said you'd get an A+.
Yeah, I get an A+.
So my wine classes that I do at 125 Live are all themed. So the last class we did was wines of the world. So we tasted a wine from a different country.
Okay.
Each wine that we tasted. Cool. This class that I'm doing tomorrow is a Thanksgiving wine pairing class.
Oh, perfect.
So we are going to be pairing wines with our Thanksgiving meal. We won't actually be tasting the food in class. We'll just have.
It's all about the wine.
Yeah, it's all about the wine.
Right to the good stuff.
Exactly. We'll have some crackers and things like that to kind of nosh on in between the samples, but we'll be going through some wines for Thanksgiving.
Okay, and you have some wine for us here today. Before we get to that, if people want to attend one of your classes, how do they do that?
So they can go to the 125 Live website and register there.
Okay.
They can also sign up through Rochester Community Education.
Perfect. One tomorrow, and then there's one in December.
There's one in December. We are doing Pop That Bubbly in December. So it's going to be all sparkling wines from all over the world.
Okay, perfect. All those details on our website, KTTC.com. Tomorrow's class is in the evening?
In the evening, 6:30.
Okay, 6:30, 125 Live in Rochester. What wines do you have for us here today? We have a wine expert and a wine
Newbie. Yeah, you
Okay.
Perfect. So we're going to just take you through some basic stuff here really quick, okay? So our first wine that we're going to always start out with is going to be Bubbles, okay? So this is a sparkling wine that is from Alsace, France. It is called a Cremant. So it's going to taste like champagne, but it's not going to have the high price tag that champagne comes with.
So you recommend starting?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're going to start
Cheers.
with the bubbles.
Cheers.
Okay.
Cheers.
So when you're
do I need to swish this around?
So yeah,
Yes.
so when you're tasting, first
drink
thing
it.
you want to do is you want to smell it.
Smell it, yeah.
Okay, so you want to
I missed all the
swirl
Yeah, you have to wait.
and then smell. Right? So just shout out what you smell. Do you smell
Nothing
any
like smelling
fruit?
good quality wine in
Fruit?
a Dixie
out
cup
of a
here.
Dixie cup. But if you want to smell out of this glass, you definitely can. So we've got some fruit. We've got some cream notes in there. Very classic sparkling wine from France.
Okay.
So when you're tasting the wine, you want to give it a good swish around your mouth, just like mouthwash. And then if you actually swallow the wine and then hold your mouth open a little bit and tilt your head down,
Tom's gonna
you
gargle
can
with it next.
feel that acid kind of bubbling away
yes,
in your
I do.
cheeks, right?
I do.
Okay.
Yep.
So sparkling wines are a great palate cleanser, very food friendly.
Yes, very nice.
Okay.
A
Okay,
good tannin,
perfect.
a little bit of a tannin there.
Tannin.
Okay,
I don't know what that means.
so our next wine is a Sancerre, which is just a fancy way of saying Sauvignon Blanc. So Sancerre wines come from France, and it is just Sauvignon Blanc
A nice
from
clean white.
France. So this is a white wine. This is from the Loire region of France, which is in northern
Thank you.
France. So if you've had a Sauvignon Blanc before, like from New Zealand or something like that, it's going to be pretty punchy. This one isn't going to be as peppery and as grassy, but very fresh, great with green beans, Brussels sprouts, your salad.
Oh, this is good.
At Thanksgiving?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Seems like
Yeah.
a flexible kind of
Right.
white wine. You can do a lot with
Absolutely.
that.
You can do a ton with this. You can just drink it by itself too.
Yeah.
Okay, that's really
Nothing wrong
good.
with
And
that.
be completely happy with it, right?
Perfect.
So I went really France heavy today for some reason, but this is a Beaujolais, which is also from France. So right around Thanksgiving time, Beaujolais Nouveau releases on the third Thursday in November. And it's a great Thanksgiving wine. You're going to get a lot of nice berry flavors and things like that. So just take a sniff and tell
Good
me what you
color,
smell.
good rich color.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. All right, we are going to continue the fun here. We have to take a commercial
Okay.
break, and we'll be right back with the answer to your question of the day and our thoughts on this final wine. We'll be right back. The fun with the wine continues. Let's quickly answer our question of the day. Almost 20% of people say teaching your kids this skill will make them more successful. Oh, writing thank you cards. I like that answer.
So true. I love that one.
What did you think of the final wine,
I
Tom?
love it. I'm taking the red one home.
You're doing the 6 o'clock news.
Oh, this is true. I have to anchor the news first, and then I will take it home tonight.
Adam, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes,
Great.
for sharing with us today. She has a class tomorrow at 125 Live. All those details on our website, KTTC.com. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Your news at 5 is next with Brock. He's a little left out, but he has news to do. He'll join you after the commercial. Have a good day, everyone.
Now at 5, the charges against a 15-year-old student who allegedly pulled a knife at Century High School. Plus, check them out. Around 2,600 designs are being considered for the new state flag and seal of Minnesota. But first tonight, time to pause. The latest on efforts to help those who need it most in the ongoing Israel-Hamas war. Your 5 o'clock news starts right now.
Live from your local